looking at a lot of the indicators, everything seems to be pointing to the fact that all right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today we're going to do our daily Bitcoin miner and Bitcoin update. We do this every day, so if you're interested in Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if you like this video, please do us a favor and smash the like button. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop a comment below. Last thing, I just want to note that we have a link in the pinned comment to our free Discord. So we would love to have you over there. We've got about 500 people, so we're starting to get a good conversation going. Okay, so having said that, let's take a look at the Bitcoin miner big board. Okay, so at the moment, and the market has closed at this point, at the moment, Bitcoin's at about $44,171. It's up about 2.5% on the day today. So Bitcoin did have a good day today. We know it had a fantastic day yesterday. Yesterday was a gigantic up day for Bitcoin and for all the Bitcoin miners. So we followed it with some very nice momentum up today. However, the equity markets were down quite a bit today. So when you combine the two of those, the miners did not really perform quite as well as you would have expected them to, given the performance of Bitcoin in the same period of time. And we'll look at that when we get to the chart and we'll compare. So I just want to mention a few standouts on the chart. The first one that jumps right out at you is Core Scientific was down 18.59%. So I have done a separate video on that I released earlier today. So you guys can watch that if you want a deep dive on that one. But they did something in specific that caused their stock to go down dramatically here today. So I wouldn't expect that to continue to cascade. It was a one-time news release, and I think it seems like this was the market's knee-jerk reaction. So again, if you want more information on that, you can check out the video I did earlier today. The biggest winners on the day were Bitfarms, which was up 6.9%, DigiHost, which was up 7.65%, and DMG Blockchain, which was up 8.85%. Now, DigiHost and DMG Blockchain are two very small Bitcoin miners. So really, the only large-scale miner that had a very big up day was Bitfarms at 6.9%. And then you can see going down, CleanSpark was less than 1%. A couple of things were down about 1%. And then for whatever reason, Wolf was down 5%, and MIGI, which is Mawson Infrastructure, was down 11.85%. So those were some outliers as well. So I'll give you a minute to glance at the big board, but that's what happened today. And you can see that the vast majority of miners did not move a lot today. It was really 1 or 2 or 3%. And when we go look at the chart, you're going to see that's actually less than what Bitcoin did. So it was really the markets that dragged this down, the equity markets that dragged these down, or they would have had much better performance today. So let's take a quick look at where the equity markets finished. So you can see the S&P 500 finished down 1.55%, the Dow finished down 1.76%, the NASDAQ finished down 1.59%, and the Russell 2000 finished down 1.93%. So everything was between 1.5% to 2% down on the day, all of the major indices. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. Okay, this is Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame. So each one of these candles represents 4 hours. This orange line right here is where Bitcoin was when the equity markets closed on Monday, February 28th. I am doing this video today on Tuesday, March 1st. So this was yesterday's market close. So this was basically today's market close. It's a little bit after the market close. We're up 100 points, I think. So you can see from yesterday's market close of the equities to today's market close of the equities, that's one day. So that's 24 hours for Bitcoin. Bitcoin was actually up 5% from close to close. You would expect the Bitcoin miners to act at least that well, and if not more so, because they are a leveraged play on Bitcoin. So obviously each miner has its own specific story, but in general, when Bitcoin goes up 5%, typically the miners go up a lot more than that. But again, we looked at the massive downward pressure in the overall markets. and that kept these at bay a little bit today. I will go through my scenario. I'm hoping we jump back on track tomorrow and have another nice green day, but we'll see what happens. This is 13 candles in a row. The only two that weren't green were basically absolutely flat. They were down about $20 over the course of 4 hours. We're more than 2 full days into really trending upward, and in the middle you can see we had a massive push up. Okay, so I moved to Bitcoin on the 30-minute time frame. So each one of these candles represents 30 minutes. This is the same thing. This orange line right here represents where the equity markets closed yesterday. So you can see later in the evening yesterday we had a big candle up, and then we kind of went sideways and gravitated up a bunch this morning. We got as high as 44,993, so just a few dollars short of $45,000. And then we pulled back, and now we're at around $44,000. So still way above yesterday's close, which was under $42,000. So we're about $2,000 above yesterday's close. We're about $1,000 below the high on the day today. All in all, Bitcoin continues to trend in the right direction. I do want to talk about this point right here. You can see we got above this green line for a little bit. These are 30-minute candles. So for about 2 hours, we were trying to break through this green line. I'm going to zoom out and show you what this green line means and this purple line means. They're very important as to whether or not Bitcoin is going to continue its bull run or not. Okay, so I'm back to Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame. So let's look big picture for just a minute. So you can see we're just under this green line right now. We did candle wick above this today. This green line represented some resistance a few weeks ago, back on February 15th and February 16th. So we went up to this line, ran into it, we failed, and dramatically went back down to a low of about 34,200. I've underlined 2 points. You can see this was the low that we hit after we got rejected off of this line. And this was about 34,300. This was the previous low back on January 24th when we got Bitcoin got a little bit under $33,000 to about $32,900. So you can see from this low, we then had a run up and a run back down and set a higher low. So that is step 1. Step 2, you can see while this green line is presenting some resistance, we actually did get up to this purple line. So I just made another couple of lines. So here we have a low, here we have a high, here we have a higher low, and I put a mark up here that would represent basically a higher high. That is what we need to see. We need to take out this high back on February 10th where we got up to around 45,700. We're at about 44,200. So we got about $1,500 to go to get to the purple line. But really we need to get through this purple line to some extent and establish a higher high. That is the next crucial step in confirming that we are back in a bull run. So I talked about this a lot in my video yesterday. Here it is basically illustrated. We need to hit this mark right here so that we can have a higher high. And to me, that would be a serious confirmation that we are in a continuation of the bull market that we had started at the beginning of the month. So let me just show you that graph real quick. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. I believe we were in a bull market. This green line right here starts on January 22nd and basically runs all the way until February 20th, where you can see this red candle dips below it. So for just about a month, we were trending upwards. And this was holding as a very nice line of support. Somewhere around here, we started to have some geopolitical activity that was putting massive pressure on all of the markets and all of the assets. So you can see we had a big run down from here to here. On this day, we crossed below this line of support where we stayed for a while. I put this white line as a continuation of this green line because I believed that we were going to get back up to this trend line. So yesterday with this massive candle up, so you can see yesterday was an awesome day. We did get back above this trend line, and now today you can see we have another green candle, and we're getting very close to the end of the day here. So unless something weird happens, this should be a second daily green candle that is closing well above this trend line. So to me, that is a very nice piece of information to confirm the bull market. We talked about the fact that if we can close above this purple line, then that will be a higher high. That will be another nice indication of the bull market. And yesterday we looked at the RSI, which crossed over 50, which I have been talking about as a bullish signal. So we finally crossed that yesterday on this giant candle. We're up from there today, which is also bullish. You can see we had a positive cross on the MACD, and this went from red to green, and that trend continued today as well. Just looking at a lot of the indicators, everything seems to be pointing to the fact that we've moved back into a bullish phase of the market for Bitcoin. So we'd like to see some of these. We'd like to see a few more days of these confirmations to continue, and what we really need to see, the final piece of the puzzle is we need to set a higher high. So we've got to get above this purple line of 45,500. So I'll say what I always say, Bitcoin does not go up in a straight line, and you can see for the last 2 days, it has been going up big time. So I will not be surprised at some point sooner than later if we start to retest some of the lines of support. So it would not nullify the bull run if we were to backtrack a little bit and retest some support lines. That's a very natural, normal part of a bull run process. So we'll see if we need to go back down and do some testing, or maybe hopefully we'll just be able to go run straight above this line and establish this as a higher high, and maybe we can use this as a line of support. That would be the absolute ideal scenario in my mind. But just as likely is that we go back and test some of these lower spots. Also be nice if we do head back down, if we can stay above this trend line, that would also be very bullish. If we can test this trend line, bounce off of it, and head up in the event that we head down, that would be bullish as well. So nothing's a guarantee. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. So this is Cleanspark. You'll see this was the close of the day yesterday, and this was the opening candle today. So on the opening candle, and these are 15-minute candles, so within the first 15 minutes, Cleanspark was up 8.27% on the day. And then you can see, even though Bitcoin continued to basically have a good day and trend upward all day long, these stocks all trended down, and Cleanspark ended up 0.75% up on the day. So, it was down 7% off of its highs on the day, even though Bitcoin had a good day. And remember, Bitcoin was up 5% from the close on yesterday. So Bitcoin was up 5% from the close on yesterday, and Cleanspark was actually only up less than 1% from the close on yesterday. So this is the underperformance that I'm talking about based on the fact that the equity markets had a very hard day. So remember, none of this is financial advice. Please do your own due diligence, and Bitcoin is acting very volatilely, and you can see, between the equity markets, there's a lot going on. So please be careful, and thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.